Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are having an incredible day. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world tuning into this day 4 of our 30-day emotional mastery. I'm going to quickly share this out. And this is day 4. Day 3 is being held in the YouTube jail by YouTube. So we're going to wait for that to process, and hopefully it'll pop up sometime today. I don't know why it was taken in there, but let's just wait and see what happens with that. If not, I'll have to just redo it over again. So anyway, it is such an honor to be here with you again. Hello, Jason. Hello, everybody that's tuning in to the channel today. Today, we're going to talk about life force depletion through the emotions. Okay, so this is really important because we are talking about the electromagnetic, chemical, and bio-emotional aspect of the human body when it comes to the imbalance of emotions or even use of emotions. We had a question yesterday where someone asked about how does it work that you are asking us to be neutral, but does that mean I can't feel emotions? Does that mean it's wrong to feel emotions? How do we navigate emotions if you say we should be in a state of neutrality? So this is an amazing question because it's really important to understand what emotions are. We kind of touched a little bit on those in the beginning. And yesterday's presentation, which again will pop up at some point when it's out of the YouTube jail and review process, it's a presentation on in-depth explanation of the emotions, how they affect, and the processes in the body to process emotions, chemical and emotional. So that being said, every single one of our emotions is not just, when we say it's energy in motion, we're talking about life force. We're talking about directing life force. And that's what emotions are. You are utilizing your life force. And there is a connection. The emotion is the connection between the non-physical and the physical, because you are translating energetic vibrational frequency into mental processes, thoughts. You're tuning into the Akash and to your holographic DNA to pull back memory within the nervous and the physical layer of the body that connects to the non-physical layer of the body, in which all of this information and emotional data is stored within the body. So what happens over time when we have a lot of trauma is that instead of allowing these processes to flow fluidly through the body, because trauma means that we are in fight or flight, which means that we don't know how to respond to the experience that's happening, there is a blockage of energy that begins to accumulate. And it's really important in trauma that as soon as we start to feel some kind of discomfort emotionally in any circumstance throughout your day, and this is especially important for children, that we address that discomfort or that excited emotional feeling or overwhelm immediately within 24 hours. Because within 24 hours, the body is going actually into shock. And this is very much a chemical process that occurs. We have all of our systems, chemical systems running to create cortisol and inflammation in the body. And, as a result of the fight or flight, there are several of them, which norepinephrine, glutamate, HPA, and GABA, and then opioids. All of these are functioning and responding to the different scenarios. And the way that we input these chemical responses in the body will depend on your history with this similar trauma, whether it's triggering an old trauma or whether it's a trauma that's just now occurring. And the reason why this is important, because the connection between becoming healing and waking up, becoming an awakened person, is directly correlated. You cannot wake up without healing, and you cannot heal without waking up. Okay, so this is a process in the healing process that it goes hand in hand, because all of these chemical responses in the body create immediate rushes of these chemicals that create inflammation, suppress the immune system, cause distortions in your digestion, in your sleep, pull you away from the natural rhythms of energy flow within the body, and in alignment with the circadian rhythms of Earth as well. So your entire body goes out of balance. Okay, this is how important it is to manage your emotions in order to live in a healthy lifestyle. We also will also be in constant survival mode, depression. There will be blockage of memories. There will be memory suppression. If the experience is too traumatic, oftentimes we will have a difficult time accessing the memories of that trauma, and it becomes a stored reference point in our energetic field that again blocks life force from moving fluidly through the body. So what does it mean when emotions aren't fluidly moving? It's contraction. We become contracted. We become contracted due to trauma, and this is the direction of death. When life force becomes contracted, when it becomes stagnant, immediately the entire energetic system begins to process in the reverse in order to dissolve itself, going towards death. So, and of course, that's the long-term result. Before you get there, you have all kinds of things. You have depression, you have emotional imbalances, you have fears, anxieties, PTSD, you have illnesses, pains, aches in your life. And more importantly, when we talk about cyclical patterns of repetitive trauma, you keep calling in these traumatic experiences, which you're going to continue experiencing over and over again throughout your entire life in different ways. It can be in your career, it can be in your relationships, it can be in your personal experience with yourself. You're going to repeat these traumas over and over again. Okay, so look at all of these different areas of life that are affected by imbalanced emotions as a result of trauma, as a result of not knowing how to navigate and balancing emotions in the body. And we are not only talking about traumatic experiences, we are talking about any time that we have an imbalanced emotional response. Okay, so it takes us away from richly experiencing that learning from the experience, because as soon as we start going into heightened negative emotions, it blocks the receptors of the brain to be able to even learn anything. The body is busy surviving, and it blocks all of the other systems of the body in order to even allow it. This also affects the sex drive, sexual organs, reproductive system, creative life force aspect of the body. The sacral chakra, throat chakra become blocked. We cannot express and communicate, and there's a direct disconnect between these systems of co-creation and the mind. In its analytical mind, it affects the amygdala, okay, and how we are responding to the things that we're experiencing. So that disconnect right there, on top of it, eliminates the ability for ourselves as an organism in this experience to be able to even learn from the experiences that we're having. And this is why it is such a kind of like counter-creative way to live, because for us, we kind of discuss the purpose of existence in this multidimensional reality is to experience all possibility. We're here to experience infinite potential. The closer you come to a state of neutrality, the closer you become aware of yourself as everything and nothing at the same time. Because you have to understand physics of the construct of the reality in which we live in. And again, that's all a construct that we all create in the three-dimensional plane. But you have to understand how that functions in order to know how to navigate for your organism to commit to its highest potential. If we are not allowing life force to move through the body fluidly, then we are stagnating, okay? And this emotional stagnation is occurring by resistance, again, contraction. So we have to be able to train the body to begin to allow for release of stagnation. Release resistance. Because of the trauma, we resist, hopefully with the idea that we are controlling situations enough so that we can manage and control not feeling suffering. But what's happening is the opposite. As soon as we resist an emotion, a response, something, that's why it's really important for you to understand that you have to feel and acknowledge the emotions that come up. This is not just about denying emotions. Again, we absolutely never want to suppress anything. We want to acknowledge the emotion, feel the emotion. You need to acknowledge the self. Your experience in this world is the most important thing because you are learning and the collective is learning through you. So if we go through life resisting the experiences that we're having or trying to avoid certain things, we're not getting the full experience of what it is to be human. And more importantly, we're not recognizing the cyclical karmic programs that we continue to reinforce within ourselves, within our society. Okay, we're contributing to the understanding of emotions in society by suppressing our own emotions as well. Because that suppressed life force, if you were to see yourself energetically, it's like you see a stream of light and then you see a yellow-black blockage or a very dense energy that doesn't move through simply by someone that is in constant resistance, for example. And resistance can look in many different ways. Anytime that we try to compartmentalize things, anytime that we try to embody processes of separation, immediately we are resisting looking at things from a broader perspective, because expansion requires all possibilities. So your awakening process is tied to the healing process. It's expansion. We are trying to reach expansion. We are expanding as consciousness. We're becoming aware of ourselves as this immediate consciousness and then the collective consciousness, because this is how we evolve. And the more of us that become conscious of ourselves as the whole, as the all organism, you see yourself as this little individual human, which is a fractal of infinite consciousness. In the bigger picture, you are the entire human race. You are the entire human race, because they are your brothers and sisters. They're fractals of yourself. And then there's another layer, which is your ancestral lineage. So even that consciousness that has existed and is a replica and repetitive expressions of consciousness within a construct called the matrix, that is another self of ours. We are this collective consciousness. And then within the matrix, we have the unconsciousness and this subconscious programmings. Okay, so we have all of these layers in which we need to discover ourselves as, because otherwise we are blocking our ability to navigate this temporal experience. Now, you take it higher, you're going to start seeing fragments of yourself as interdimensional beings, light bodies, orbs. Okay, so you are all of those. That is all you. The spectrum of species that we come across are all vibrational frequencies, manifestations of frequencies, and states of evolution that we have all been. We are. We simultaneously are all of these things. They are, again, like brothers and sisters. They are us fractalized within these other dimensional planes. And then if you keep going higher, you are this universe. You are the multiverse, and so on and so forth. The more that we see ourselves as these larger systems of interconnected consciousness, you begin to understand how important your role is here in evolution and dissolving the cyclical stagnation that we are carrying within our genetic blueprint. So that stagnation is all of counterproductive, counter-creative programming that allows you to stay stuck emotionally, mentally, physically, and interdimensionally as well, because this is, we have to remember all these areas are being affected by our awakening process, by our healing process, because we are interdimensional. And the more you wake up, the more you're going to have access to interdimensional aspects of yourself. So you're going to have to experience this whole integration process again in your dream state by accessing all of the areas which you're navigating in dream state, and again with interdimensional consciousness, then light, then all of these other levels that we can possibly begin to conceptualize, because you are here to experience this life as all these things. So emotional blockages in the physical body are essential to your ascension, what you want to call ascension, or coming into your highest expression as all, okay? And in order to reach that, we want to reach a state of observation. It doesn't mean that you're going to be like an empty, emotionless, stoic person. It means that you're going to come into a state of observation, and you're going to watch and acknowledge all the emotions that come up as a result of experiences in order to learn from those experiences. What are you learning? You can learn many things from those experiences. You can learn the patterns that you're holding in order to have the experience that you're having. You can learn how to navigate, how to change, how to alchemize this experience from a low vibrational experience into a high vibrational experience. You can learn how to heal your body from any kind of illness, pain, suffering that you're experiencing as a result of the awareness of what you're experiencing through your emotions. So there's so much that you can learn, and that's just the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, because underneath there, you begin to realize that these cyclical patterns are something that is shared collectively. And we are all discovering and exploring what it's like to relate to one another in a heavily compartmentalized reality. What would it take in order for us to achieve unity internally and externally? And that's really kind of what all of these experiences are going to be for. We have to experience that contrast in order to understand how to reach unity again. Unity as an individual internally, the physical, feminine and masculine aspect of yourself, within the cellular structure of yourself, energetic and emotional, and then collectively as a human race, and then as a whole, as a world, as a planet, as part of a galaxy, which is also, compartmentalized and organized by vibrational frequency, and then as a multiverse. And then as we're moving through these different dimensional planes, we're going to be experiencing different ways of expression of life. Okay, so going back to these emotions, the stagnation of emotions means that we are not allowing ourselves to acknowledge the emotions that come up. We are either resisting, we are judging. That's really important. And in the processes of resistance and judgment is where we become fragmented and heavily entangled. Okay, so physically, the body becomes entangled. How do you become entangled? Number one, immediately you're writing experiential contracts. Okay, so people ask me, what are contracts? How do you break them? Well, you need to learn how you create them first. We create them by the resistance and the stagnation of life force in those experiences. Remember that this is a hologram. So it's kind of like these experiences are designed to help you as an organism release cyclical patterns of trauma. And if when that experience presents itself, you resist, you ignore, you suppress, you neglect yourself, you abandon yourself in that moment, you're not utilizing that experience to evolve and to progress, to heal, and to, again, awaken. Instead, you're going even deeper asleep, because you're not addressing what needs to be addressed in the physical body. So this is a stagnation, and it's a loss for you individually, but also for the collective, because collectively we're not evolving. Now, I want to be very clear, there is no right and wrong. We need to be clear that what we're dealing with is either creative life force or counter-creative life force. That's all It's not right or wrong. So you're very welcome to resist that experience, but the side effect, the cause and effect of that will be counter-creative. That means that it's going to result in the cascade of side effects as a result of resisting that experience. And it can be anything from depression, feeling helpless, no motivation, sexual problems, digestive problems, physical ailments, down to repeating the same experience over and over again. Those are the side effects of that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're welcome to experience that. And some people are here to really, really have a lot of those experiences and continue experiencing that. But the invitation of the process of awakening and coming into your highest expression is to break some of these cyclical programs in order for you to expand as consciousness. Okay, and this is the beauty of this life. There is no right or wrong. So therefore, in that moment where you're presented with the experience, coming into a state of observation rather than resistance, or anything else, you consciously begin to choose how you wish to interact in that experience. And this is where the awakened human, the new human that is conscious of the cause and effect factor of every thought form that is created in that moment. Okay, so the thought forms that are created are timelines. Every thought that you have are potential timelines that you are, it's like little pearls or little beads that as soon as you have a thought form, it manifests into a point of reference in your field. And this point of reference is not just created out of the blue. Remember that it's inputted by all the past ancestral programming around the scenario and also emotional and unconscious belief systems. So it's not just a random creation that you're doing. Most of us are cycling and repeating cyclical patterns over and over again. So the fact of becoming conscious means that you're aware. Are you just repeating cyclical patterns, or are you becoming aware and actually choosing that you want to have this thought form? Okay, so that's the difference. And the vibrational frequency of this thought form creates a ripple effect of creation. As we know, the law of attraction, we've all heard and we know that quite well. But this reference point of vibrational frequency immediately creates a chain reaction in our entire system. Okay, it's affecting the holographic field and also the physical body. Okay, and it also is going to record into the Akash, the DNA of the human race. Okay, so remember, every single potential creation is affecting and accumulating in the collective subconscious. So you're contributing to that. And the interesting thing about that is that if we were to measure, let's say, the collective temperature or vibrational frequency of a human race, there is a certain vibrational frequency that we are holding as a collective. And that frequency is let's say, the medium of all of the thought forms and vibrational frequency of every human. So just quickly think about what we just went through in the last couple of years. Major collective shift. Almost everyone in the world experienced something similar, which allowed everyone to have collective trauma, okay, but also a massive opportunity to reset and awaken their consciousness so that they can choose what they're going to be experiencing next. This is how powerful the last 2-3 years have been. And it has allowed a shift collectively vibrationally, because now we are kind of finding ourselves navigating and discerning how we're going to hold space for the next, few years in this cycle. Okay, so all of you souls that have incarnated into this lifetime are specially equipped with all of the genetic lineages of information, vibrational frequency, future and past consciousness to be able to affect and change the timelines that we're experiencing collectively. So you're waking up, you're becoming an awakened human. Multidimensional human is really a beautiful opportunity. Okay, and the job description is to be constant flow, okay, to be expansion rather than contraction, if you choose. If you choose, everything is your choice. And this is where we begin to tune into what free will is. Free will comes available to us when we know we have free will. If you're repeating cyclical patterns, you're not even close to free will. You might think that, oh, I'm manifesting, and you might be manifesting small time, maybe the job that you needed, maybe the amount of money that you need this week to pay your bills, maybe you're having the food, maybe you get to travel somewhere. But you have to understand that are those experiences a result of cyclical programs still? And what would it look like to break away from that cyclical program in order to affect the whole? And this is kind of where we are being invited as a collective human race to push away from the individual into the collective. This is part of the ascension. Not only is this the design of the vibrational frequency which we're moving through as a collective, but it's designed within our biological, electrical, chemical makeup of our body in order to have the potential to move as a collective unity. And the future, we see a lot of concepts of dystopian futures where we have, these kinds of very highly advanced beings, right, or artificial intelligence that becomes conscious, and the focus is always the same, right? Are you making choices for only your service to self, or is it service to others? Okay, we can't be service to others if we don't understand our own internal processes. So the emotional stagnation, so when we talk about life force depletion, anytime that we begin to feel an emotion, we are immediately allocating energy in the direction of something. And it creates contractual agreements because it's charged with a vibrational frequency and information that's input by our ancestral information, the data bank from ancestral repetitive trauma, and everything that you have made yourself to be, programmed yourself to be up until that point. All of your programming is also inputted into that vibrational creation. So emotions are incredibly important and powerful, and it's packed, this emotion that you just created in this moment, with all of this information. So as soon as we make this, we're creating a contract with all of the players, the participants in your hologram, in that experience. It can be anyone, it can be your neighbor, it can be your partner, that you're just experiencing something with them. That vibrational frequency creates a contract because you met with this person. This was already designed, pre-designed through resonance. Let's say a partner. You have united, met each other through all whatever circumstances you met by resonance, because already, and the resonance is not just, let's say, attraction or same plans for the future. I'm talking about the subconscious programming that runs your creative system. That creates the resonance and your vibrational frequency. So if subconsciously you're very fearful of life and you're afraid of creating, advancing, moving, or stagnation, afraid of intimacy, all of these subconscious programs, these are just examples, very limited examples, but simplified for you enough to understand, are going to find you a match that is the same. And you have to look deep in the subconscious mind. Face value, this could be two very happy looking people. But the subconscious programs are going to be repetitive programs that they're carrying from their ancestral trauma, everything that they brought from father, mother, infinitely, okay, going back and simultaneously. So that resonance is a contractual agreement. It's the frequency that is the contract. Frequency is the contract. So as we create this contractual agreement based on what it's charged with, let's say in this example that these two partners came together, they're both afraid of intimacy. Okay, together they are making an agreement to address this because it now designs their every next moment. It designs potential experiences that will highlight fears of intimacy. So all of their experiences are going to be based around this on some level or another level. And the interesting thing about this is that we humans are united through networks of frequency. So their family and our family is all kind of in similar resonance. Your friend circles, families, friends, all have similar resonance. And you really won't be able to understand that until you really go deep into yourself and take a look at what brings you to these relationships. It takes a very awareness, observation. Again, this is why observation in a state of neutrality is so powerful, because you have the ability to observe how, why. And it's important because, again, remember that the opposite is a life of free will, and I'll do another video on free will, because I mean, when you look at the bigger picture, we are in interconnected systems of consciousness. So they're really, we're not really experiencing free will. We are part of a collective. We have free will within this three-dimensional holographic experience based on everything that we are. If we break those things, we can then begin to actually create outside of the program matrix. Because right now we are just a result of deep, deep programming and compartmentalization. So how can you say you have free will? Are you really choosing, or are you repeating programs? So outside of those programs that we have to heal from through our awareness waking up, this is how we begin to access free will truly, is by then becoming aware in the present moment and then choosing from there how and what you want to experience. Okay, and this is how you begin to move forward. So all of these things in the present moment is where you can actually create, because remember, there is no past, there is no future. All of those things are not existing right now, but they are heavily inputting into your processing system when you are in hypnosis, when you are sleeping, when you are unconscious, especially when you are in survival. Okay, so then we can't. So this is where we need to be able to move forward in that. So let's talk about the depletion aspect of this. Okay, when we make these contractual agreements to experience, immediately our life force begins to deplete. Why? Because not only are you repeating emotional programs, but what happens to the body when that happens is that an emotion is triggered. The emotion is triggered by data that is informed and imprinted in the system, the physical body. So you can have trauma that is, let's say, every single trigger that you have is stored in different parts of the body. Okay, based on its emotion, based on its frequency. So, for example, if you're in fight or flight mode, in survival mode, because something makes you feel unsafe, for example, a person might have that information heavily stored in the sacral and solar plexus. So immediately their stomach will be a knot, their muscles will be tight, and oftentimes the chemical aspect of it, they have high levels of cortisol, which really affects the way that their immune system is processing. And then we can go into that. I mean, their digestive system is affected, the immune system is suppressed. Okay, so and let's just talk about the muscles in the body are super tense, not just in that experience, but most of the time. And so this constant state of survival for people over time causes incredible amount of imbalance. And a lot of us, we have a hard time even understanding what it means to be in a state of peace, in a state of calm, in a state of awareness, because the calm becomes incredibly uncomfortable. Because then all the emotions that we haven't addressed begin to surface, because they're immediately in your nervous system, your muscle system, all the layers of the body. They're in your receiving. This is like a router. The human physical body is like a router that immediately receives input, output information. And so we have the suppression and the contraction of this energy and life force. And so the contractual agreement is to continue to experience this over and over again. So to break that, in that moment of trigger, we have to choose different. We can't repeat the same thing we've been doing. We can't keep the contraction of energy in the body. We can't keep the tightness of the muscle system when someone is triggering us with something. We have to do the exact opposite. We have to completely relax the body, come into a state of flow energetically, which means that you are acknowledging the emotion data that's coming into you. And this might mean that you step away, hopefully, from the experience to kind of readdress. Now, when there's really, all of a sudden traumatic experiences, obviously it's going to be hard to do that. But this is why it's important to do this work every single day, not just in meditation, but throughout the day, constant awareness. When we stay in a state of observation, so let's turn neutrality into observation to make it more clear. When we're in a state of observation and we're not judging what we're experiencing, immediately you have a moment there to choose what you want your physical body to do. And that's how you enter into awareness. That's how you fully come into your body. You're now in your body. You're not floating or hovering above your body or avoiding emotions, avoiding things that you're experiencing, because every single one of these things is so important. And it's going to be amazing when you realize, as we did a couple days ago, we talked about the layers of emotions, how many things are suppressed. And this is why emotions can be very overwhelming, because they are accumulative. It's not like something that you can just change from one day to the next. So if it's accumulative, you have to also heal all of that. You have to heal that, the layers of those emotions. How do you heal them? By acknowledging them, because the awareness of that emotion is allowing that stagnant energy that you were ignoring to come back online. It becomes aware. You become aware of yourself as that, and life force now can move through that. The stagnation of life force is resistance. It's contraction. So if we're feeling that contraction, you are not moving life force through the body. And so what happens when life force is stagnant? Life force can't move through the body. Okay, it can't move through the body. So this is where we become depleted. It's like an irrigation system of life force. If one area is blocked with a bunch of mud, life force can't move through the lower parts of the body. And this is what happens to most people, that their source cord that connects to source becomes blocked at any part in this body that is not allowing that life force to go through. And usually it doesn't get past the heart here, because a lot of us haven't learned to love unconditionally or to even love ourselves. So this is the majority of people don't have life force moving past here. Okay, and so the lower parts of the body, the lower chakra systems, are highly out of balance. They're either overactive, they're out of balance, sometimes they're out of the body, they're fragmented, all kinds of things can happen. Fragmentation in the chakra system breaks the ability for life force to move through. And fragmentation of the chakra system is sustained trauma over time. It means profound fragmentation in trauma. It can be through sexual abuse, it can be through mental, psychological, emotional abuse. All of these things create fragmentation. And remember, we're not just talking about extreme cases, we're talking about everyday life. Anytime that we feel that we're incapable of dealing with an experience, this is where we begin to kind of go out of balance. Okay, so this is where we kind of have to take a look at what happens to the energy, your life force, because, and this is physiological, psychological, and biological, okay? Your body, because it's in constant state of survival, all of the chemicals that provide you immune system, regenerative resources to help you sleep properly, to help you restore all of the things in your system to heal. Your nervous system, your endocrine system becomes attacked. Okay, blood levels, sugar levels, glucose levels, all of these things go out of balance. And this is how people end up with illnesses, but even just physical ailments. They can't sleep. So not being able to sleep for a long amount of time causes major problems in your physical life. Not being able to come into joy is majorly affecting the balance, the chemical balance in your body. If you come into depression a lot, your life force is completely depleted because you're not receiving from source life force. It's not moving through you. You're stuck. And so in order to have life force move through, that awareness is to open, to expand. And there's many techniques that you can do, therapy, healing, energy work. Qigong is my number one go-to quickest fix. Okay, tapping, you do tapping energy, but Qigong really begins to move the stagnation of the life force. Now, you cannot do just one or the other. You have to do all of them because we're multidimensional. And again, just like, in yogic studies, you become a yogi of the physical body and a yogi of the mind. So mind, body, soul, all three departments of our multidimensional body have to be addressed and balanced. So, this kind of work, this is what it means to become awake, okay? And how do we make it easier for us is by doing it from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep in dream time. And again, every single day is constant, like we say, deaths and rebirths. Because every moment is an opportunity for you to either cultivate expansion or contraction, creation or counter creation. And we become depleted in life force because the stagnation of energy creates holes in your energetic body. This is where we create holes. The contractual agreement that you made with another person during that experience is a vibrational frequency that deteriorates and creates a disturbance in your field. Lots of people are worried about electromagnetic things. More importantly, is the holes that you're creating in your multidimensional body through imbalanced emotions and lack of awareness. This is more important because this is actually how we become weakened to external things. Remember that we live in a hologram. It's mind over matter, life force, mind over life force direction, conscious life force direction. And so we can only direct life force consciously when we become aware of the priorities of our body, which is first this 7 layers which we have to learn to master. So the holes and the rips and the tears in your energetic body are unconscious parts of you that have gone to sleep. A lot of times people neglect the importance of the back of their body, the back of their legs, the back of their feet. They completely ignore these parts of their body, but they don't understand that every cell in your body, you're a fractal design. Every part of you is doing what you think the most important part, your heart. You think your heart is the most important part. Your heel is also processing the same data. Okay, it's translating and moving that data in different ways, but it has the same processes of receiving and output. Okay, every cell in the body functions in this same way. And when we fall asleep or back into hypnosis, we're not able to access the information that's coming in and out. And this is where parasites can come in. And what do I mean by parasites? We have to do a whole different video on that, because anytime that we reject ourselves like this, we become counter-creative, we become parasites, because we no longer believe that we ourselves as an individual organism can create. We think that we need external stuff to help us create. And this is, if you think about the book of Enoch and the creation of the universe, this is how this 3-dimensional expression came to be. It chose to experience separately from the whole. So when you choose to experience separately from the whole, we also have to experience duality as a result. And that's the result. That's the cause and effect of that. So you become this exchange. And because we're not aware of how to navigate that properly, we become depleted and manipulated, mind controlled. All kinds of things can happen to us as humans. Okay. Now, Next level is what happens to you in dream time, because in dream time, when we're unaware, we're also creating holes in our field and deeper fields outside of our immediate, maybe one through five is what you're doing in the waking state. Then when you get to the higher levels, higher dimensional bodies, is being affected by things that you're doing in dream time, past lives. Okay, you entered the 10th dimensional plane, you're tuning into the Akashic layers. And the Akashic layers of the body are informed by the collective and simultaneous lives that you're experiencing. So a lot of people come to me and they say, I think I had something happen in my past life because I don't understand where that trauma is in this life. So immediately you understand you're not going to have trauma in this life unless you're repeating something you've had many, many times. Okay, you're a product of what you are, what you know. So you're always going to find the access to trauma in this life. It's always going to be there. So sometimes we get stuck and we have a hard time seeing where it is. So that means you have to go deeper. You have to go deeper. Okay. We should be able to reintegrate from all our lives, from the womb until now, and then past lives. Okay. And then you go into the higher dimensional planes of interdimensionality. You're going to reintegrate from there. Hybridization program, interdimensional contact, all of that is fragmentation on other dimensional planes that we need to reintegrate from. And this is a complex topic that we'll talk about some other time. But anyway, this is how we're dealing with that, just to give you an idea. Okay. So anyway, so your emotions are really, really important. And so anytime that you come into these heavy emotions or unconscious reactions, you're doing yourself harm. You're not harming the other person. And hear me out, right? Because what is changing, what we live in is in a co-creation. So in your field, you're creating something. In their field, they're creating something. They merge, Vesica Pisces, they merge, okay, in order for us to have collective experiences. We are all merged as a human race to have a collective experience. So what will create change in this world is what you're doing in your field, how you're feeling in your field. This is how you come into true compassion, because you see yourselves as others. Okay. So anyway, we could keep going. There's so much more that we can, so we become depleted by life force in unconscious situations. So if you're feeling constantly tired, if you're feeling drained, most likely you're having heightened emotions that you're not being aware of. There's no mastery in the emotional area. So anytime you're depleted of life force, of energy, you're weak, it's directly connected to emotions, because emotions is energy in motion. Okay, so this is where we need to come into that. Now, sometimes you feel tired when you wake up. You haven't rested enough. There's unconscious layers, and it means that a lot of us have been in survival mode for such a long time during waking state that we can't allow, the system is programmed to be in constant survival. So when it goes to sleep, it's running chemicals that don't allow you to rest the body. You see, this happens after sustained trauma, okay, that has been unresolved. So anyway, let's get into a meditation, loves. It's really awesome to share with you today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And in this meditation, let's get started. We're going to start by inhaling deeply, and we're going to repair our body from where we're being depleted. So today we're going to find out, where are we most depleted by? Okay, so let's go ahead and inhale deeply. And exhale. Okay, we're just immediately going to do a body scan of our body. So just relaxing the body from the crown of the head down to the base of the feet. Being in complete stillness. Complete stillness. Any part of you that wants to move is in survival mode. It's a survival mechanism. The parts that want to have tics or movements in the body So just gently and compassionately breathe through to bring as much stillness as you can. This is something that can be changed over time, not immediately. So I want you to have patience with yourself. Okay, so bring yourself in as much stillness as you can. And your breath is important at this time, that you breathe through any tension in the body. So check the body, wherever we have tension in the body, we're going to breathe through that. Notice how tight parts of your body are, and breathing through. Breathing through. Down to the neck, into the shoulders. Breathing through. The chest, the front of the chest, the back of the chest, back of the back. The abdomen, this is where we hold on to the majority of the tension. So I just want you to notice how many layers of muscles that you're not aware of can you release in your abdomen. You're going to be surprised. You'll be surprised how much tension you're holding on to in your abdomen. Okay, going down into the lower hips, into the lower back here. Lots of tension. Pain can't exist in a body of full awareness. Okay, I know that sounds like it's impossible, but it's true. And I'll show you that hopefully by the end of this 30 days. That as you breathe through the tension in your body, even pain and discomfort becomes an illusion that you can overcome and release, even if it's temporarily, because in that present moment, your mind is directing your body what to do. So we are bringing the body into a state of neutrality, a state of calm, down into the thighs, into the knees, into the legs, into the feet. Okay. So now that you're here, just taking a moment to take a few breaths here in this stillness, and I want you to be aware of your entire body as a whole. Okay. Almost as if you're looking at yourself from outside. You're seeing yourself sitting where you're sitting, and you're aware of all of you, inside and out. You have this double vision of the internal organs, all the systems, the muscles in the body, as well as the outside of you. So I want you to see both those aspects of yourself, from the crown of your head down to the base of your feet, bringing yourself fully into the body. You're going to ground yourself down to the center of the earth now. So extend that awareness down to the core of the planet. As you become one with earth, you are one with earth. You're going to take your attention out to your energetic field now, and I want you to tune into all of the variations of energy around you. And because every person has a different language for translating this information, some of you might hear it, some of you might feel it, sense it, taste it, maybe even smell it, and some of you might visualize it. Some of you might feel different variations of temperature around your body. It's another way of seeing it as well. So just look around and just notice the variations of energy, areas that are more dense than others all around your body. Now, if your body looks like it's missing parts as you look at your whole body, you know exactly where you're going to have weakened life force. This is where your life force is weaker. If it's darker, it feels like it's caved in, or that it's missing parts of your body that are difficult to become aware of in this practice, that's the areas that are most unconscious. So just gently bring your attention there. And you're going to create a field around your body. Now, this field is the holographic projection of all of these empty spaces in your body. So you're going to see the field, the bubble, and you're going to see openings. You're going to see tears. You might see cracks. You might see holes, like open spaces where you can't imagine the bubble around you. Okay, so you're going to make your bubble out of something completely impenetrable. Completely impenetrable. Breathing deeply. Very good. So as you tune into the spaces that need to be closed, these are the parts of your body that require healing. This is where we have stagnation of life force. All of the holes and the tears that you see in your body are going to be stagnation of life force. If your entire back is open, for example, we have a lot of suppressed emotions that we haven't been wanting to see or acknowledge, and we send it all to the back. This is pretty common for a lot of us. So I want you to focus on the back of your body and just notice, or any part of your body that's open right now, take your attention there. And I want you to feel into that open space, to that tear in your energetic body, okay? Some of you might be able to see cords. Some of you might see masses. Something might manifest into masses of energy or look like objects, for example. Okay. Some of you might feel kind of sickly when you connect into those parts of you. It might feel like it makes you feel nauseous or empty. Okay, so just notice that. And what I want you to do is I want you to visualize neutralizing whatever is there, keeping that space open. You're going to remove out of your body. And you're going to transmute it from that heaviness. As soon as it leaves your body, it turns into light on the other side of the field. Okay? Pull it out of the body. And what you're going to do is you're going to visualize that you have a violet vortex of light outside of your field, and hopefully outside of your window, outside of your house, that you're going to direct all of this stagnation out into that field. And that field is a vortex that connects to source. We're going to introduce consciously this stagnation to light, to flow, okay? And as you remove that, you're introducing that into that infinite consciousness that goes directly up to source, to the all, out of your body. And I want you to just observe emotions that might come up as you move this out of your body, thoughts, memories, because all of that is imprinted in this energetic mass. You might also see, if you see cords connecting to certain people that are inputting this emotional trauma or experience stagnation in your body. So for example, let's say it's a mom that you've had an issue with, or a father that you've had an issue with. There's going to be a cord connecting to them, and it's immediately going to be connecting to the body and the parts of the body, the organs, the chakra systems that are storing that data in your body. So mindfully try to pull out all of those connections. Simply your awareness of them begins to move the life force that's stagnant in that area. But if you're visual, it might help you even more. For those of you that are visual, for those of you that are not, you're going to feel it. You're just going to feel it or sense it or know that it's out. Okay, so just go ahead and pull that out of your body. And you're going to repair that open space in your field. Repair it. You can bring white life force and visualize fusing that opening close. Okay. Now, a couple things are going to happen. Any kind of physical ailments that you had, like let's say you had some pain in your hip or here in your tummy, just it's going to begin to lessen immediately. Okay, so just allow all of those processes to take place. If you're fearful of these changes or you doubt yourself in your healing ability, it might take longer for these healing effects to take place. So the more that you trust in yourself and your abilities to heal your body and what you're doing here, the more you understand what you're doing, the better the results will be. Okay, because everything is energy. So we are learning how to master that. Okay, so as you clear that, go ahead and move on to the next space that is open around your field. And feel into that space. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. Okay. As you tune into the other part of the body, do the same. Consciously remove the blockage that's there. And you're going to tune into all kinds of wonderful information about it. Breathing deeply. Okay. Let's continue moving to other parts of the body. We're going to do the same. And you're going to feel yourself just, it's like you're coming together. Before it felt like you were open or just, not connected to your body. It's going to bring you back together. You're going to feel like you're coming back together, because what's happening is that more of your source life force through your source cord is beginning to enter into the body, because now it has space to enter. Previously, it was occupied with other blockages in your space. Okay, so as you carefully go around the body, sealing those spaces, tuning into the information that is there. Beginning to feel a lot easier to breathe. Most of us have very shallow breath. That's also a result of trauma, and it's a result of being in constant survival. So the deeper your breaths get, more life force is moving through your body, because you're breathing energy into the body. Okay, so the deeper your breaths are down to the base of your spine, naturally, not forced, that means that your energy is beginning to rebalance in your whole system. Okay, breathing deeply. Wherever there's tension in the body, there's imbalance. So go ahead and correct that. Okay, so notice how many holes or tears and openings you had in your body. This is why your life force is depleted. You become tired at the end of the day. You take on and contract illnesses, diseases, other people's pain, other people's suffering, things that don't belong to you. You're taking on through resonance of that unconscious aspect of yourself. Remember that. You take on things through resonance of unconscious parts of yourself. So we need to become conscious 360 degrees, okay, all around the body. So as you become aware of your entire body, now you are in the present moment. You're also going to begin to feel that your mind is more quiet. It's more peaceful. It's not running. The monkey mind isn't constantly running. The heightened monkey mind is a state of survival, okay? Because it believes that it needs to analyze or think or apply meaning to things in order to survive, but it's actually the opposite. And we're training the nervous system, chemical, emotional, and physical, in order to come into a state of observation, which requires surrender and it requires awareness. Okay, so as you're here now, completely surrounded in your field, I want you to fill your space with a color of energy that is really healing and nurturing for you today. And you're going to set the intention that today, every single moment of your day, you're going to come back to your body, come back to this awareness, come back to your field, create your field around you really nice and solid. And what do you need today in order to do that? Go ahead and ask yourself, what do you need today in order to be aware of this process of yourself today? What do you need? What do you need from yourself, not from the outside, because most of the outside doesn't have tools that you're learning and that you're cultivating here today. So it's on us. So what do you need from yourself? Okay. Very good. Breathing deeply. Very good. So now that you've identified that, go ahead and bring that frequency, that light that comes into the body, and it's beginning to enter into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones. This is not just in imagination, but you are literally shifting the frequency of the body by introducing to the body a new way of being. So you're providing what you need to yourself now. So every cell in the body, you're letting them know what we need, and every cell in the body is taking that in. And you're going to immediately visualize that a vortex underneath your body. You're going to begin to eliminate any heaviness, any emotions that you've been holding on to, anything that you need to let go. Just imagine releasing that down to the center of the earth. From the center of the earth, go ahead and visualize a powerful green light coming up into your body, creating a vortex of energy. Green earth healing. From the universe, from source, go ahead and visualize a cosmic light coming down, mixing with that green earth energy. Gold, gold and green. You're going to send 10% of that back down to the center of the earth. You're going to take 80% up your spine and clear the matrix on the outside of your bubble. Visualize that gold and green light clearing you from any kind of unconscious connections to people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you. And I want you to inhale deeply, taking back your life force from all the places that we are depleting our life force unconsciously. It can be places that you've gone, people that you've spoken to at the grocery store, at your gym, online, interactions that you've had with people online that have triggered you. Go ahead and visualize calling back your life force, because you better believe that in every single one of those interactions, unless you were conscious in the present moment, you're depleting your life force and you're connecting energetically to them, contractually and through energetic cords. Okay, so we're going to call all of our life force back. This is a great practice of awareness that'll also help you understand and become aware of yourself and what you've been doing over the past 24 hours or week or whatever, however you can, whatever you have access to at this time. Bring it back, breathing, and release everything that you took on from other people that you don't need to take on. Other people's guilt, shame, emotions, energies, bad moods, survival mechanisms in uncomfortable scenarios, everything that you have had to take on, even collective issues in the world. Like, for example, things that are happening in the world outside, like the war or distractions on social medias. Bring and release everything that you took on from that. Any programming, any thoughts that don't belong to you, let it go. This is neutrality. opinions, okay, judgments. Let go of all of that. Immediately, you're going to begin to feel more energized, okay? So look, just in this exercise, you become aware of how much energy is depleted from you unconsciously, okay? So we're just calling all that back into the body, and you're going to take that final 10% or small amount of green and gold energy, and you're going to feed it into the body now, okay? So cosmic and earth energy now heals the body. I want you to direct this to every part of the body that feels imbalance, aches and pains, illnesses. You're going to direct it. So bring it into the body, heal the body. Now that you're aware, we're going to recharge, nourish, open, and expand these spaces so that we can allow source to move through us fluidly. Again, no shallow breathing, deep breathing down to the base of the spine, mindfully, with every inhale, receiving that healing into the body, with every exhale, eliminating whatever doesn't belong. Very good, very good. So I want you, now that you're here, to go up to your crown. We're going to activate the crown chakra. I want you to fill it in with the color of your highest vibrational frequency. What color do you see? Go ahead and put it up into the crown. Okay, activate the crown. That's the center of manifestation. And we're shifting by placing this color in the crown. You're shifting your entire frequency from being in alignment with karmic cyclical programs of repetition to your own conscious creation. And your conscious creation is the intention to be in your highest expression. So that has a frequency. So you put that color into your crown, okay? And it's affecting all areas of your life, okay? So as you put that into your crown, I want you to visualize a room. Just see a room. Go ahead and create that room in your mind's eye. And this room is filled with your karmic experiential contracts. All of the agreements that you've made in all dimensional planes before you came in are all written here on contracts in this room. Go ahead and see them, take your time. You can make it as detailed or as vague as you want it to be. Just know that it's a room filled with karmic contracts, repetitive programs. And you're going to shine your crown on top of that room, and I want you to just dissolve all of those contracts. You're going to dissolve them. Just imagine turning them to sand, turning them to air, to water, and then they just drift off into the center of the earth or out into the cosmos, out to source, until that room is completely empty. Sometimes people create hidden rooms or hidden doors or back doors or dens underneath. So just check and see if you have any of those extra rooms there. We like to play with our minds and ourselves sometimes, so we suppress a lot of things that we're not aware of. So in this practice, we're going to become aware of anything that needs to be removed out, okay? And as you eliminate everything in those rooms, you're going to fill this room now with your crown color. Fill it with your crown. So you are choosing in this moment that your experiences are coming from your highest expression, not karmic cyclical programs. Okay, you're gonna, oftentimes people feel like a weight is lifted. Okay, so this is how powerful this work is. Just become aware, just observe your own experience with what's happening. Don't listen to me, but just observe what you're experiencing as you do this. Okay, and as you clear that out, okay, you're just to bring your attention back into your body. And we're going to clear out the root chakra, bring it into a balanced state, the sacral, the solar, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. Activate the 7th, the 8th, the 9th dimension, ninth chakra, the 10th chakra, 11th, 12th, and 13th. And above you is a white light of source. Go ahead and connect it to that white light and bring that white light down into your body. Anchor it into the center of the earth. And for a moment, I want you to see yourself as this whole light being that is this field of energy, your physical body, your grounding into the core of the planet, and your connection of source moving through you fluidly. Okay, so allow that source to move through you and just take a moment to just enjoy that source, that unconditional love. You're going to observe, allow yourself to be in a state of observation, in peace, in harmony. You are safe, okay, because you create your safety by managing your emotions and your perceptions, okay? Go ahead and open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room, okay? Very good, everybody. Welcome back. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I know this was a heavy class today, a heavy practice, because there's a lot to talk about. But I hope it helps you kind of understand the importance of emotions, because we really do deplete a lot of life force and cause ourselves a lot of physical, mental, emotional, and energetic harm without that awareness. And that's why I did this challenge this month at this time, because without this kind of practice, we're just in for more unknown situations in the future. So we have to prepare for that. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys so much. A shout out to everyone. Wow, so many people joined us today. Thank you guys. It makes me so happy to know that you're meditating with me. That brings me the biggest joy. So thank you so much. I'll read your messages. Hello, Katie. Oh, that's amazing. Laonika Yola, hello. Jean-Francois from Canada, hello. So nice to see you. Zen J, Lynn from New Zealand, Katie, thank you so much. Jason, Lynn, Luana, Melinda. Melinda says, I thought I was doing good navigating the trauma I experienced, but now my life is falling apart again. It's sometimes hard to want to go on. Yes, my love. I hope that this class kind of helped you understand that it's not about surviving emotions, but it's about just observing the experiences and not identifying with them as what you are, because you're not those experiences. You are infinite consciousness. And it's time for you to create the life that you want and need. And you do that not by imagining fancy houses, cars, vacations, beach sides, but you do it by creating an incredible peace inside of your body. And that's where it is. You create the peace and the love in your body. And that's all there is. If you could just focus on that, things will begin to change, and just not focus on these external things that are draining the life force. Redirect where your energy is going. Zen says, love doesn't think, it just is. That's correct. Okay. Wow. What luck. Caught the notification. Thank you, Dean, for joining us. Katie, thank you so much. Eric, just want to quickly see if there's any questions that I can answer. I want to thank you for your amazing comments. Marija, so good to see you. All right, my love, I don't believe there are any questions here that I can see. If I miss something, I'm gonna readdress it in my next session, okay? So love you so much, unconditional love to every one of you, and I will see you soon. Oh, my love, bye-bye. Can I play an instrument? Yes, I played the violin for many, many years, but not so much anymore. All right, love you, bye-bye.